The media is instructing Aussies to support crony capitalism. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee and let's have a look at an article from news.com.au. So, social media giant facing a major self-inflicted damage after the shock Aussie news ban. The social media giant took the nuclear option yesterday, but the biggest victim in the Australian news ban could well be Facebook itself. Oh no, poor Facebook. I'm not a fan of Facebook, everyone. Don't get me wrong. But they responded to threats of coercion from the Australian government. If you actually look into what the government is proposing, it's crazy. It is crazy. Now, I did a poll here on my channel, and we can see 41% agree with Facebook banning Australian news, while 59% don't agree with it. They don't want Facebook to have to ban Australian news, or they're going, oh, it's time to get them. You know, they're ripping us off. They're stealing from Australians. Well, no, they're not. You'll have one argument where people are discussing, you know, oh, Facebook has paid no tax. Well, you know, if they've gotten out of tax using legitimate ways, what's wrong with that? If you're personally slighted by that they have the capability to do it, I mean, that's the complexity of our tax system. It's terrible. What you can do, here's the solution. Everyone can do this. You can buy some shares in Facebook, and then when you get a dividend from Facebook, you can donate it to the Australian Taxation Office. Solution. Then everyone's happy. You don't need to complain about Facebook not paying enough tax. And more money goes to the ATO to spend on wonderful things, I'm sure. What do you reckon? Now, let's have a look at this in another example. Because, well, people are annoyed at Facebook, and I don't think they quite get it. I don't think they understand it. Because people hate Facebook, because it's a horrible platform, honestly. Now, this here is one of my other businesses I have, where I do point cloud equipment rental. Now, on here, I actually give away point clouds of different parts of Brisbane that we've scanned so people can use it for free. I pay for the cost of storing the data. You know, I have to maintain the server to store this, and I just provide it there for people to use. So if you've never seen a point cloud and you want to play with one in Mesh Labs, grab it and have a look. I had someone contacting me the other day asking where they could get one, and I could just point them to this. Now, with regards to this Facebook thing, they've created a platform, and they're allowing people to create free pages and websites and to put things out. And these are news and media companies, legacy news and media companies. What the government is intending to do is to make Facebook pay for every time someone uses that platform. Essentially, Facebook is giving them something for free, and then forcing Facebook to pay those people who use the free service every time they post to it. It'd be like, you know, what if all of a sudden the government said, Florian, every time someone downloads one of your point cloud files that you're giving away for free, that you spent the time to build and create on your own initiative, you have to pay them $10. You have to pay them $50 or whatever, you know, because you're taking away from the other point cloud businesses in Brisbane that could be doing these scans. I don't think it would ever happen. It's utterly insane. What do you think I would do? What do you think I'd do? You know, take a guess. I'll have a shot of coffee. What do you think I would do if that happened? Would I pay the money? No, I'd just delete it all. I'd get rid of the free service. How is that any different to what Facebook has done? The government is trying to force them to pay news media for using their platform. Again, I'm not a fan of Facebook, guys. I rarely use it. The only good thing I like about it is seeing photographs that I took years ago appear now. That's it. You know, most of my feed is, I don't know, dank memes and stuff there, and, you know, silver and gold and politics. I filter out all the garbage. You can do that too. You're not actually forced to use it, guys. They're not forced to provide their service here in Australia. This is going to hurt businesses in our country. And the media is getting all these people riled up. Australia won't be bullied, our politicians are saying. Our politicians are being used by legacy media to implement a crony capitalistic process where money gets siphoned off at new media to old. And Facebook's just the beginning. There was provision for this to happen. I've read through the proposal. There's provision for this to happen for other social media organizations. What about BitChute? They don't even have an office here in Australia. What the problem with this is, this type of garbage that the government is implementing, it will limit the ability for these organizations to run in Australia. Gab, BitChute, all these others. Because, well, they can either jump through the stupid hoops the Australian government creates for them, or they could just block access for Australians to it. And I know there'll be people that are saying, oh, but I can use a VPN to get around it. Sure you can, but you're not the mainstream. And you're circumventing it. What if the government here in Australia forces VPNs to pay the same charge? Why not? So, I'm not at all surprised why so many Australians are falling for this. They're not really looking at it in any greater detail. But you've got to understand, this is the government stepping in, stuffing something up to try and protect legacy media. And as much as you hate Facebook, as much as there's an ideological basis to the company, first starts with Facebook, then it's with Minds, then it's with Gab, then it's with BitChute, then it's with Odyssey, all the alternative platforms. So let's look at this. Let's look at what Alexis has written here. So, as Australians adjust to a brave new world without news on Facebook, I mean, many people are probably really enjoying it. Experts have started to analyze the long-term impact of the drastic move, and it doesn't look good for the social media giant. Oh, come on. Facebook stunned Australians early on Thursday morning with the bombshell announcement that users would no longer be able to view, share news on the platform, with Australian content also hidden from international users. The shock decision was made in retaliation to Australia's proposed new media bargaining law, with the federal government pushing forward with a plan to force social media giants to pay for news content. Yes, forcing Facebook to pay for people, other businesses, to use their system. So they don't have to use, the media giants can just refuse to use it. Who's lobbying for this type of crap? Who's lobbying for this crony capitalism coming in? And if you think, the Liberals, LNP, are the party of the free market, here you go. They're not. Don't kid yourself, everyone. So, they're talking about taxes here in Australia. Who cares? That's not part of the conversation. According to Swinburne University of Technology, I think I prefer my name, Media and Communications lecturer Deanne Bossio, while the news exodus would cause some short-term negative impacts for Australians, it might have shot itself in the foot in the process. In a piece penned for The Conversation yesterday that can't be shared, she said local Facebook users would be inconvenienced by the lack of news. The fact that a slew of government and charity pages have also gone dark, and by a short-term proliferation of misinformation, as Facebook's news feed will have a vacuum of professionally sourced and fact-checked news, with smaller independent news organizations mostly at risk by the exit. Well, what's shocking is just the number of organizations, and I heard the Women's AFL has been taken off because it's completely government funded, guys. You can see all of these organizations. Maybe this is the first time some people will realize how many of these other organizations are just, government propaganda machines. If people are talking about, they're worried about, whenever I advocate for a reduction in taxation, and they all list all these virtuous programs, what about all the crap that's there? There's a lot, guys. A lot of money wasted. So, but she said the reputational damage from blocking important sites that serve Australia's public interests overnight, and yet taking years to get on top of users' privacy breaches and misinformation, undermines the legitimacy of the platform and its claimed civic intentions. Well, no, it's the government stepping in. Those websites could be sourced as news providers. Facebook's actions may send a message to the government, but they will also send one to their Australian users. She added that Australians would simply look elsewhere for the news. No, they won't. But stressed that the change to people's feeds might be a deal breaker for some, and that the reputational damage and publisher exodus will eventually damage its core business digital advertising revenue. I mean, is it even making money here in Australia? I don't know. I don't think it'll make that much of a difference, honestly. People will still use it. You know, they already do. There have already been lots of groups that have been purged from the platform, but it's convenient and people are lazy. How many times have there been calls to delete Facebook or get rid of Facebook? It's a sentiment echoed by a string of other experts and politicians, with a defiant Treasurer Josh Frydenberg yesterday vowing the government would stick to its guns and make Facebook pay. LNP, guys. LNP. Whoever thinks they're right-wing is an idiot. Seriously. Whoever thinks they're, well, advocates for a free market don't know what's happening. Facebook was wrong. Facebook's actions were unnecessary, they were heavy-handed, and they will damage its reputation here in Australia, he said. You forced them to do it, mate. You put this legislation in. No one voted for this legislation. Was it ever tabled at the last election? Who cares, except legacy media? Now people can't share their links. We're a country of 25 million. We're not as big and as important as people think, in the grand scheme of things. Their decision to block Australia's access to government sites, be they about support through the pandemic mental health emergency services, the Bureau of Meteorology, were completely unrelated to the media code which is yet to pass through the Senate. Well, maybe you should appreciate what you're getting from them, Joshy. What they're providing free. Set up a government Facebook. Go on, do it. Like the Greens will hit it, they'll help it. Who the hell would use that? Have you ever gone to a government website? People don't appreciate what they're getting for free. They really don't. They think they're entitled to it. They don't have to do business here. There are lots of other providers that don't even service Australia. It's frustrating, particularly when you wanted to use them. Communications Minister Paul Fletcher also lashed the surprise decision and said it was one that was unlikely to be in the long-term interests of their brand. Nah, people won't care. People won't care. The backlash grows, fueled by the media. It feels like I'm surprised how many people are just blindly supporting the government's push here. This is crony capitalism, guys. This is no different than setting up a bloody potato board in Western Australia. And I know it doesn't exist, but I only found out about it recently, and I couldn't believe it. It's the type of thing you think from the Middle Ages, not here in modern times. Oh, we have to protect the potato industry from cheap prices. This is nuts. It just shows you. To what extent will our government intervene in the market to prop things up? How can we shift the Overton window to get more Australians to realise this is dangerous what the government is doing? This is no different to any other tariff in a way. Tariff or charge. Meanwhile, scores of experts, I keep saying experts. I mean, what the hell type of expert is there in social media? And I mean, come on. And industry insiders have also came forward to slam Facebook's decision. Science and Technology Australia CEO Misha Schubert said the blocking of content from science organisations along with news sites denied access to essential health information. Well, take that up with the government. You don't have to use it. You don't have to use Facebook. If it's an essential service, well, why don't you build your own? Why aren't you also providing people access to, where's your Gab page? Where's your Minds page? Provide that for an alternative. Why aren't they putting it out on Gab or Twitter? For Facebook to block access to the feeds of trusted science and health organisations in Australia during a pandemic and bushfire season is irresponsible and dangerous, she said. Wow, they're acting like Facebook they're acting like they think they're entitled to use this thing. You're not, guys. They can kick you off. They can choose not to do business with you. When your government tries to screw them over, they can walk away. At a time when the company is taking steps to tackle misinformation on its platform, it's concerning it has chosen to silence some of the nation's leading scientific voices. That concern was echoed by Chris Cooper, the Executive Director of Reset Australia, an initiative working to counter digital threats to democracy. Digital threats to democracy. I think democracy at the moment appears to be a threat to our individual liberties, because the mob is just gone nuts. Facebook blocking news in the middle of a pandemic. It's the same. This is scare tactics, guys. They're trying to scare you. I mean, never waste a good opportunity. You know, tag the pandemic onto every bloody thing to scare people. And this is how you get bullshit through Parliament, guys. And Outbrain Managing Director APAC and Growth Markets Andrew Burke said it would ultimately hurt small organisations. Facebook's decision to pull all Australian news is a massive blow to local publishers and for the free exchange of information and ideas in Australia, he said. This will be especially hard for smaller publishers who rely on this platform for people to discover their content. Oh, really? Really? Well, this is the Australian government's fault, everyone. Okay, they're trying to force a foreign company to pay legacy media. This is crony capitalism right here. Right here. They're trying to force Facebook to pay other organizations to use Facebook. I mean, if you got paid every time you posted stuff on Facebook, you're going to post more stuff on Facebook to make more money. Right now, they're already posting their things, and then you'll click on it and you see their articles. They get advertising revenue. They already get paid. Everyone. So what do you think? Do you think people realize they're being, well, manipulated by the media to support crony capitalism? Does the average Australian actually understand what is going on here? Or could it just be they hate Facebook so much? And I think this is it, to be honest. They hate Facebook so much that's just clouding them to everything else. They go, stuff Facebook. Get them. Yeah. Which I can understand. I can really understand. But guys, okay, Facebook are this evil. The government is being more evil in this circumstance. Because it just starts with these guys. Just starts with the big ones. Then they'll go down the chain to all of the other platforms. So, I mean, there we have it, everyone. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. And also, make sure you follow me on alternative platforms while we can. I've got Gab, Library, and Odyssey. Take care, guys. Have a great day. If you enjoy the content I create here, there are a few ways you can support us. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links from Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband. You can buy a merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. You can also help us out by joining MeetRx or SelfWealth to help us with referral links there. Take care, guys. I'll see you next time.